we're back with more on the WHHI News. Guess what? Daylight savings time is March 10th. A lot of fire departments will say use that date as you spring forward to change the batteries on your smoke detector. Here to remind us about that, but give us a lot more information that's helpful. Stephen Combs, he's a public information officer with the Bluffton Fire District. Stephen, what's the number one piece of advice you want to give as far as changing those batteries before we get into more details?
Yeah, so those batteries should be changed out at least once a year, but we recommend daylight saving time when we go into it. So springing forward and falling back, those are two ideal times for you to go ahead and swap those batteries out.
Now, you provided me with some statistics that are a little bit harrowing. One of them is that we had 84 fatal fires in 2023 in South Carolina and 98 deaths related to fires. It's scary stuff. I mean, do you think in some of those cases a smoke detector could have saved lives?
Well, it's always hard to tell, but knowing that we have those smoke alarms, it gives those residents a little more time to get out. With fires moving so quickly now, residents have maybe 2 to 3 minutes to get out once that smoke alarm sounds. And so every second counts.
It does. Every second counts. And I know one of your sayings is when in doubt, just get out. Is that something you stand by and really recommend to people?
Absolutely. We recommend that every home has at least 2 fire extinguishers, one somewhere near the kitchen, one in the garage. And if you can't manage a fire by yourself with with a fire extinguisher, it's just get out. Best to get out and let the fire department come and take care of things.
As far as smoke detectors go, there are different versions, the ones that you just kind of put up with some tape or adhesive on the ceiling that have batteries, others that are wired. Is there any preference as to what people use, or what are your thoughts on that?
Well, the minimum coverage is going to be provided by a battery-powered smoke alarm. But if your home is interconnected, it's connected with the wired smoke alarms, that's going to provide you the best level of protection. The reason being that if one goes off in your house, then they'll all activate, and you'll have plenty of opportunity to be able to hear those. They're not quiet.
Right. So if there's a fire in the kitchen, but your kids are in the bedroom upstairs, that alarm's going to go off if you happen to be fortunate enough to have them wired, right?
Right. I'm glad you mentioned the kitchen, because that typically is where we see a lot of fires occurring. People forget that they've left things on the stove. They've walked away from something that was cooking, and all of a sudden it quickly ignites, and we have a problem on our hands.
Where do we need to put these smoke detectors?
Smoke detectors should be in every bedroom, outside of every living space, and then in your general gathering areas like living rooms and hallways that people will gather. We also recommend your carbon monoxide alarms as well, at least one on every level in your home. If you have gas appliances, gas logs, any type of gas-powered heating device, then we recommend that you have a CO alarm as well.
I mean, and that's so important because that is undetectable if carbon monoxide is in your home at unsafe levels, and that will be the way you'll be alerted. Now, I always thought those should be plugged into the outlet near the base of the floor, but where is it best to put those, and is it okay if they're down lower?
It's okay if they're down low. Generally we're looking at somewhere between head height, about 5 feet or below, because that CO does sit low. And I'm glad you also mentioned that, because carbon monoxide is that silent killer. You can't smell it, you can't see it. There's no way to really detect it without a carbon monoxide alarm. And so most houses are not wired with your electrical outlet by your head. So down at the floor level where your normal receptacle is appropriate.
Yeah, better to have it than not. And if it does sink to the lower level, hopefully it'll let you know something's going on. All right, I remember at my parents' house, they had the battery-powered smoke detectors that were so old, they were starting to turn yellow. Not a good idea. Right after a certain amount of time, don't you have to get a new one?
Right. Generally speaking, your smoke alarm should be replaced every 10 years. If you pull the smoke alarm down on the back side, there's a date of manufacture on it. Every 10 years, those need to be replaced. And then your CO alarms also need to be replaced. Those are actually sooner. Depending upon the manufacturer, they say anywhere between 5 to 8 years. And so there'll be a date on those as well.
Well, Stephen Combs, as always, great information. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
And when we come back, we're going to learn about some exciting changes coming to Mitchellville Freedom Park. Don't go away.